Hello everyone and welcome to race 7, the second to last race of season 1 of the DaveCam and PPR iRacing League TL1. We are in beautiful Daytona, as you can see, under the night sky, but the beautiful lighting we have at Daytona. And we are hoping for an exciting race, although we already have one championship sealed, and that's Alex Gao, as you can see. He drove a fantastic season, but we've still got a very close championship fight in GT Pro, and anything can happen in GTM to take away James Bowman's lead. But let's hope that we have a clean, yet exciting race, as always. So we've got another cold race, 22 degrees Celsius, humidity as usual, and the wind temperature, wind speed as usual around the 10 kilometers per hour, and 62% humidity. I'm hoping to maybe see some rain races whenever rain comes out in iRacing, but that's still a long way to go. So let's see how all the drivers are doing in practice. Oh yeah, just before we go there, big thank you to our sponsors as usual. PPR for organizing and upkeeping this league, DaveCam for joining up with PPR to make this league possible, and Diamond Caravanning for sponsoring the league and just making it possible for everyone to organize it, be here. And as always, thank you to the drivers and all the staff that put in the work to just make sure the races happen. Without the drivers, it's not possible, and without the staff to get the standings out and make sure everything's going smoothly. So yeah, let's see how everyone's doing in practice now. So we've got Chris Scar with a very good-looking time of a 133.333. Just 300s ahead of Alex Gao with a 133.371. We just see Alex Valhalla improve 5 tenths off Chris. And we've also got in GT Pro, we've got Dan Bull 140.5, 1/10 behind him, Chris Barrett. And that's the championship fight we're going to be watching there. We've got Benjamin Warbitron, 142.058, and Tim Braining right behind them, 200s off. We don't have our championship leader in here yet. Oh, actually, yes. Actually, no, we do. We have him in, but no laps done yet. We want to see how good his pace is. So let's just quickly hide that. So far, looks fairly close together right now. I mean, obviously, a few people are still saying their first laps and getting used to the track. But maybe let's hop on board with someone. We see someone go by there. I think that was either Alex Valhalla or Alex Gao. We've got two Alexes in LP2, and that's Edward Hope coming around in the Porsche, hard braking into the Daytona corners, and he goes right into the wall. He just threaded the needle between the tire walls, and he's gone. Very unlucky. Juka Aho sets in as a 42.689, 6 tenths off our current pole in practice. Provisional pole, I shall say. So a couple of things though about the track, if if viewers haven't raced here or you haven't been, if you're kind of interested about it. I mean, Daytona, as everyone really knows, is a very famous oval track. As you can see, the high banks allow for just full throttle when you're using the oval cup cars, or any car really. It's all full throttle. So it's more of like tactical. It's very tactical in oval, but the infield section for the road course, which they also use in oval occasionally, it's also great. It uses a bit of the high banking, or quite a bit actually, and you've got very hard braking into turn 1, which is not full throttle or very fast. You gotta be braking hard, but obviously since you're exiting the banking, and you're also sort of turning, or it's quite a big turn, but you can maybe get quite a straight line into the corner. You have to brake very hard, and in GTs and LP2s that don't have ABS, it's very, very scary, especially on full tires and maybe not a comfortable setup with the right brake pads for you. But overall, the infield section is actually, it's not the most technical, but it's great just when you're driving along it. And obviously you've got turn 7, I believe, here, entering the banking. Very, very long section where you're just full throttle, and if you're behind someone, getting that slipstream, and then you have the bus stop that gives me mixed feelings. I've had my fair share of overtakes in there, but I've also had my fair share of slowdowns. The first corner going into the bus stop is fine, but as we see Chris Barrett coming, actually, you see the first corner is fine. Obviously, you have to be careful not to overspeed, but then go in for the second corner, or third even. On the very exit, you have an inside curb, and it's very easy to cut there if you're going too fast on a setup that's very tight. Obviously, you might be prioritizing more top speed or straight line speeds, meaning you might not have the turn in or bite as you'd want, and you can easily cut the corner or go a bit wide and just completely ruin it there and lose positions or lose a ton of time. See Chris' car coming onto the banking now. Just out of interest, let's see how fast that LMP2 is going to be going. So in 5th gear now. 280, 290. Should be 300 safely. 310. 320 even. So, very fast car. 330. Yeah, 330 right before braking. And I didn't actually notice, well, speak about, Alex Gao takes provisional pole, 33.288. So that. Let me just quickly.
Sorry.
There you go. As much as we love radio, it's not something we should be broadcasting. And yeah, with that said, Alex Gao takes provisional pole, 133.28, as I said, ahead of Chris Scow with his wonderful 33.3333. So that's 4 hundredths of a lead and 5.5 tenths on Alex Valhalla. Adam Singer improves, jumps into 3rd place, so now he's the first of the championship competitors. James Bowman's out on track right now, we can jump over to him. He is right behind it actually, right behind Chris Scar. We'll see how quickly the Corvette can get around the oval and what speed. Oh no, he's going to cancel his lap here. That's not good. I guess we can watch a BMW. I believe one of the faster GTs. Heavy Metal Racing, I can remember the name now. Wonderful livery, very detailed. So let's open the dashboard. And hop on board. Look how high those banks are. The car is literally riding on a wall. No, you could say it like that. I've heard people can't even get up the banking when they visit Daytona. Now this is turn 1, very difficult corner. Gotta be very careful with the brakes. And then try and get a very fast exit, get early on the throttle, very early on the throttle, as early as you can. But obviously it's very difficult with the traction. Now we've got turn 3, I believe, and going a bit too deep here, Tim Braining, and into a wall. Not exactly the perfect line. So now we've got the Porsche of Edward Hope. Let's try and follow someone for a lap so I can walk you through it. So we've got turn 1 there, as you saw, turn 2, and 3 I guess I'll call it. And now turn 4. Not the most difficult of corners, but it definitely is one you want to get right so you can get the rest of the run down to the straight. He ate a little bit too much curb there, but you might want to just get a bit of it just so you can extend the track limits and get more speed coming through the corner rather than keep it very tight and possibly lose time. If you're side by side, obviously, with someone, you obviously will have to take maybe a tighter line, but of course that's fine. Maybe the Corvette of Adam Singer will take us through a lap, because people are abandoning left, right and centre. And now, okay. So this should be turn 5, very fast corner, should be full throttle, maybe on cold tyres you might want to lift here a bit. Yeah, as we see there. Turn 6, hard braking, and it's quite a fairly tight corner, so you don't want to lock your wheels here, lock your brakes. And now turn 7 and 8 onto the banking. Fairly deceptive corner here, but you can make a dive or two here. But obviously you'd want to prioritize an exit onto the banking where you can really secure the position if you're behind someone, because you'll get a slipstream, or if you get a very good exit you can just pull away. Although depending on what setup someone's running, they can really catch up to you. If you're running a high aero compared to a lower arrow which the opponent might be using, you could lose a ton of time here. But if you're going to gain all the time in the infield, it's a compromise as usual. And there you see, that's what I meant. Going a little too fast and cutting the exit of the bus stop. Now we see the banking. What's also interesting is that Daytona hasn't been on any of the... Well, it hasn't been on the calendar at all for ILMS or IMSA. I believe it might be in ILMS a little bit later. Maybe not even this season, if I remember correctly. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I don't think any drivers have actual like setup shops they may be subscribed to. Obviously, those setups are very high quality, so drivers have to be on their own here, or at least try and adapt setups from previous races, and that's very close between Adam Singer and I believe that's James Bowman, if I'm correct. Yes, that is. So he came out of the pits then, now we might have a full vet fight in practice, or hopefully not. Or something that's fairly safe. They may abandon the laps if they lose too much time. Haven't seen any major improvements from anyone, but we do have Jamie Lawrence on track. Hasn't been here every race, but we appreciate the effort. And oh wow, that's James Bowman around, and cold tires there. Very easy corner, it's turn 7 I believe. Very easy to lose it there. I've done it countless times in the BMW when I drove around Daytona. Matt Edmondson, I believe that is Pegasus Racing. No, Med Motorsport. But you got the PPR logo on the front, so very nice livery. Even without the logo would be very nice, but PPR logo makes it 10 times better. We'll see Alex Valhalla in the United Autosports livery, if I remember correctly. Bit of a lock up. Turn 4 might be one of those corners that it's very easy to lock up on, so I won't complain about it when I see drivers doing it. And it's very close between Alex Valhalla and Matt Edmondson here. Traffic usually isn't an issue, at least in the league. We don't have that many drivers, but as usual, drivers will want to get past fairly quickly. Or if you're an LMP2, you want to get past quickly without losing time, and GTs would want to not lose time, or by getting dived, or LMP2 stopping mid-corner. If you're an LMP1s here, it'd be even more crazy, because the LMP2s can get fairly close to the LMP1 when it comes to cornering speeds, but we don't have LMP1s. So it doesn't seem like we have anything really happening in GT when it comes to the championship fight right now. Obviously, Juka Aho is in P4. I believe he'll have to gain a bit more points than that if he wants to overtake James Bowman, but you've got Le Mans next week as the final race. So that's still a chance for someone to secure the championship. But I do think they'll want to get a lead early, or at least get very close early and just try and finish 1-2 positions ahead. In GT Pro though, if Dan Bull and Chris Bauer even lose positions together, because we have seen Dan Bull, for instance, have a horrible race at Royal Atlanta, where he lost positions often, like a good few times. If they finish at the bottom together, they could actually end up tied or that close together in the championship. But I do think after this race, someone will get a fairly large lead. So there'll need to be a very, very dominant performance from either of them at Le Mans to really secure the championship for themselves. Now the PPR car, I believe that was Jamie Lawrence. We don't have any other LMP2 drivers today, so that's 4 cars, sadly. We've got Jack Thompson and obviously James Bowman, who hasn't done a lap. And that's him out at turn 1. A common place to make a mistake at. Good looking livery, as I stated a few races ago, on Alex Valhalla's car. That's the United Autosports livery. Very good looking car, to be fair. Similar colour scheme to Alex Gau's livery, which is the Satellite Racing livery, also sponsored by VRS on that one. Red and blue. Different shades slightly, but you will have to look a bit closer to actually notice the differences. But both great looking liveries. He can probably cruise this race, maybe give a bit of a fight to Chris Scar if you wanted to, or maybe just pull away as he tends to do now, as the championship's already secured for him. But, you know, the race always goes on, and obviously there might be a championship fight for the lower positions. I can confirm that just about now. So in LMP2, Chris Scar can get P3 in the championship by just finishing this race in a decent position to get 4 points because Tom Darman hasn't arrived in the last few races. And we are missing Daniel Thomas. We're missing quite a few drivers. So Alex Valhalla can jump up a good few positions. Actually, he can. Oh, actually, no. Alex Valhalla and Jamie Lawrence are in a fight currently for P8 in the standings. About a few drivers ahead of them have not arrived to any recent races, so it will be 3 points for them. They'll be able to close the gap a bit, but not between each other necessarily. Since we've only got 4 drivers, the point gains should be quite high, so the gap won't be closing between them. The gap to the cars ahead will be though. And that's Alex abandoning his lap. Alex Valhalla losing a little bit into turn 1, saving it, but not an ideal way to take the corner. The Porsche of Edward Hope, is he gonna do a full lap now? Probably is. Yeah, he's past the last point he was at. Do we see William Hope anywhere? No, we don't. And we've got 12 minutes of practice remaining, so that's not ideal. A bit of a lock up into turn 6. Difficult corner if you're trying to push the limits early on, especially on cold tires. But not that difficult as some corners on other tracks, I'd say. Doesn't make it any less important though. Every corner is important on a track if you can gain time on it. Ducato improves 4.2 tenths off Adam Singer now. Adam Singer's on a 41.967, that's 7 tenths off Edward Hope right now. And we've actually got 3 GT AM drivers ahead of Eric Newman in GT Pro. So Eric will want to improve, although he had an issue last race where he couldn't actually do the race. So he'll definitely want to improve and maybe get a good race today. Jack Thompson, our last race's winner, I believe. Let me confirm that. Yes. He may be hoping for a good race today. Obviously, Beauregard doesn't seem to be here, so if he can show great pace like he did last time, and that's James Bowman. Wow, he's gone flying off. Oh, that's interesting. If Jack Thompson can show the same pace as he did at Royal Atlanta, it should be a very, very smooth one for him. But Dan Ball and Chris Barrett can put up a fight to him. We're just waiting on Jack Thompson to do a lap at some point, maybe in qualifying at least, so we can see where he is. He's a fast driver for sure. He's also in the Porsche, so that's Edward Hope having someone to look up to maybe. And someone to compete with, sorry. If a car was very powerful on one track, maybe you can compete with someone in the same car as you and excuse it as just, driver skill. Ducato improves yet again. That's 100th of his previous time. Chris Carr and James Bowman on screen right there. James Bowman has a bit of a blinking moment, as usual with online races is. And GTM still is pretty much all Corvettes except Tim Braining's BMW. But Tim Braining is in P3, just a 10th off Adam Singer, so that doesn't take away from his success. Looking at the banking, it's just insane how high it is, really. You'd think that maybe if you're driving along it's not that much, or from at least a decent FOV or point of view. But when you're looking on the cameras from the specific angle, you really see how high it is. Or if you walk up it, then it's just crazy. Obviously on the straight here, up to turn 1, it's alright. but the actual banking turn 1, 2, 3, 4, as it is with oval, it's very, very high. And that's a Corvette. One of the drivers spun around. Is that Benjamin? Yes, that's Benjamin for RPM Racing. And he's disappeared as well. And that's a bit of a spin by Alex Gar. Not exactly sure what happened there. Maybe let's jump back to it. So we're driving along. Oh, you lost on the curb there. Maybe the car bottomed out a bit. I'm not too sure. Oh, there you go. Wrong button there. Who's out on track? Alex Valhalla is. Quite a convenient camera. Coming out to the pits now. Out of the pits. That's a fairly easy pit exit. But if you're going a little bit too fast, you can go wrong. And if you just stick tires or coming out on cold tires, it's not something you'd want to really overspeed in. So it does seem like we have a fair gap between GT Pro and GTM, at least between Dan Bourne and Chris Barrett. They're on 40s, and the fastest GTM time is a 41.9. So that's a good 1.5 seconds minimum. So they shouldn't have to worry about GTM drivers ruining, or at least slowing down their fight. But you never know. I mean, GTM drivers can be fast as well, and they are fast. James Bowman is out on track yet again. Obviously, he's hit a 45.2 and countless times gone off track or messed up a corner, so he's not sure if he's going to be able to do a full lap in qualifying. You want to do a full lap in qualifying, but you never know. Daytona is a difficult track if you're not used to it, and especially turn 1, there are a few corners other than turn 1 where you can make a mistake very easily if you're not used to it, if you don't know the track well, or if you haven't driven on a particular setup. Obviously, as you know, or as you should know, setups can make car drastically different. It could become very snappy all of a sudden on new setup, so you want to spend as much time doing laps just to understand it and maybe be able to push and get some better laps. But, you know, it's not the easiest thing. This 1 hour practice time is usually not enough to get on the pace. Alex Valhalla and Chris Barrett going into turn 5 now, and now turn 6. Quite close between these two. No lifting involved. Chris Barrett went a bit deeper, but now it's Alex Valhalla through with no problems as usual. That's LMP2s for you. Good speed and downforce difference. Jack Thompson sets his first lap, 41.334. May have actually been rounded up. Hopefully it was rounded up. Wonderful dog picture. 9/10 off Dan Ball, so his first lap, which is actually quite good. Matt Edmondson jumps to the top of the charts for GTM, 141.937, 300 quicker than Adam Singer. Oh, actually, that's another rounded up time, as you can see, 0.029 gap. So that's another 41 from GTM. Got a few drivers on very low 42s, but that's still not perfect. Quite close between Jack Thompson and that is Tim Braining in the BMW. Tim's gonna let him by. So we've got 4 minutes of practice remaining roughly. Obviously, people won't get to finish their laps if they run one, since practice doesn't really matter. So it'll be an instant switch, and same with qualifying even. Once the times run down, it's over. So you'll want to get all your laps in. So today's race, we've got 4 LMP2s. We've got William Hope now, so we actually joined the session fairly late, but he's here, and we're glad to have him here. The two Hope teammates together, as always, the Corvette and the Porsche. Remember, it was both Porsches. Now it's a Porsche and a Corvette for at least half the season. Great to watch though, because their liveries look actually very simple, very minimalistic, shall I say, liveries. But they look great on camera and they provide some great racing, these two. Even if they're not fighting for the championship, they really provide some action. We've seen it at Sebring, or Sebring, whatever you want to call it. We've seen it at Road America, if I remember correctly. We've also seen it at Road Atlanta a little bit. And that's Jack Thompson going a bit too deep into turn 6, coming out wide. Not the ideal line for the corner. Unless there's something I'm getting wrong. So Chris Barrett and Dambo are probably trying to improve their times. Maybe find some more pace. Maybe they're running race pace now compared to quali pace. Not exactly sure. But both of them are out on track. I believe that's Benjamin Warbitron behind. So we've got 3 LMP2 drivers coming out on the out lap now. Maybe someone can challenge Alex for the win, Alex and Gal to be exact. Maybe Piscar can close the gap a little bit. Or maybe Alex can let them close the gap. Maybe a bit more entertaining. Alex himself has said that if he knew how close the GT Pro Grid was, he would have switched. He would have picked GT for the start of the season, which is a fair point to make because we've seen very close fights. Beauregard and Jack Thompson last race, Dambo, Chris Barrett, Beauregard as well. They're racing. We've seen Edward Hope trying to do strategy choices that haven't been the best, but you know, an undercut attempt is always an attempt that you could have actually gained time on. Just because you didn't doesn't mean you shouldn't try it every time. Dambo, however, his strategy is fantastic. We've seen it twice now, I believe, where he had shorter pit stops and did come out ahead of the person he was fighting behind. Well, he was behind the person and he was fighting them ahead. Chris Barrett trying to nail the pit entry, getting a bit of luck, but I don't think he's sped in there. Don't remember what the speed limit is. Wonderful red LEDs on the right side. So doing a pit stop. I wonder if he's just going to come out on track as well. Okay, so we're just doing a normal stop. Jack Thompson is stuck. So he loses it. That's a fair corner to lose in. Okay, I thought, okay. It looked like his wheels were spinning, but it didn't seem like he was applying throttle. That's when we play right now. There you go. So that's Adam Singer. 200 behind Matt Edmondson, or I'd say 3, looking at the pure laps. Obviously you have the rounding, so that means they were very close when it comes to decimals. And that's practice over. So we've seen some impressive laps. We've got someone to really watch. So we've got Dambo and Chris Barrett to watch in GT Pro. We've got Matt Edmondson and Adam Singer, and Benjamin Warbitron and Tim Braining for GTM. In LMP2 it's not that close. But doesn't mean it's going to be bad to watch. Hopefully, at least. So that's Adam Singer on screen right now, as we were watching him before. We're going to have the qualifying component on screen. Well, let me, if I can find it. Oh, it's already on. It's my bad. Okay, so we've got Chris Barrett out on track first, so we'll follow him around for a lap. Adam Singer will be behind him, so it's just a few seconds, maybe 2-3 seconds. No, maybe even Adam Singer's first now. Yeah, there we go. So we have 3 GT drivers, 2 GT Pro, and now we've got Tim Braining in GTM. coming up first. Alex Valhalla and P2 now, getting ready. For next season, we can maybe get an open qualifying session so that we can see everyone's improvements and losses in the sectors while they're all on track together, so we can have a more F1 style. Because right now they're in their own closed rooms, sessions, whatever you want to call it. So we do get the data, but obviously you can't see them all on track together. So I'd have to skip around and try and get to the latest person, but that's not always the most entertaining to do. So Adam Singer will be starting his lap first, and hopefully finishing his lap first, unless something happens. Oh, unless Chris Barrett is that much faster. So we'll hop on board with him, see how he does through the first few corners, hop back into the TV camera to maybe get a good shot of his Corvette. Hard braking into turn 1. No lockup. Obviously this might be a banker lap almost, to see how the car handles on cold tires, low fuel. So now turn 4. Looking pretty clean so far. Get on the throw early. Looks fairly well done. Now turn 5, let's see if he'll keep a full throw. Pretty sure he will. Having driven on Daytona for a while though in GT. Turn 6. Clean braking. I know the Corvette can be a bit hard to control, shall I say, in underbraking, depending on your setup, of course, and your technique. Turn 7. Keeping it very nice and tidy. Turn 8. No loss of traction. So now that will be him coming towards the end of the lap. We've got everyone roughly starting the laps now. We're just missing William Hope, Edward Hope, Jamie Lawrence, but they've got some time to get the lap started. So now let's see how he does into the bus stop. Adam Singer's improving through Sector 1, Sector 3, Sector 4. Chris Barrett's purple in all sectors so far, but obviously they're in 2 separate classes. So that's not necessarily a comparison to make between them. No purples for the GTM drivers. I'm not sure if that's specifically because of them being in GT class altogether or not. So that's a 40.636 for Chris Barrett. So that's very close to his practice quality times. Alex Valhalla with 33.690, so that's not a bad time. Obviously, he has 3 more laps to improve that. Let's see where Alex Gow is on the lap. So that's turn 7 and turn 8. Tim Braining sets his first lap, and that's 4 times quicker than Adam Singer with 42.035. So getting close to those 41.9s that people were hitting in practice. Eric Newman sets a 42.010, so that's just about quicker than GT Am. Remember, if a GT Am driver outqualifies a GT Pro driver, they will be starting ahead. Since obviously iRacing does not support the class, the subclass system, shall I say, because Am and Pro are both using the same cars. Benjamin Warbutron jumps into P2 right ahead of Adam Singer by 100th of a second. Alex Gow is purple in Sector 1, 2, and 3. Improvement in Sector 4. Let's see where he comes across the line. Should be in provisional pole. Dumble is purple in Sector 1 and Sector 4 and Sector 5. So that should be provisional pole for him as well. And there is Alex Gow, 32.516. So that's a very fast time. Quicker than what you were saying in practice. And that Dumble is now on provisional pole, 40.416, 2 tenths ahead of Chris Barrett. So that's a bit more of a gap than he had in practice. Let's see who we can jump onto. Jack Thompson. Where is he? There he is. Improvement through Sector 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm hoping this is his actual lap. We'll find out soon. Eric Newman, purple in Sector 3, but lost time in Sector 1 and Sector 2. We don't know how much, but we'll find out very soon. So it should be Jack Thompson's first lap, if I'm correct. Maybe this was his out lap. No, okay, that's his first lap. 41.374, 9.5 times up down ball. Tim Braining, that's the fastest lap of the qualifying for GTM right now. So his BMW's ahead of all the Corvettes so far. 41.982, so that's a 41.9. That's what we have seen in practice so far. Benjamin Warburton, 41.8. That's the fastest we've seen from GT and drivers so far. Jumps ahead of Eric Newman. And as I was saying, he will be starting ahead if this holds up. Jamie Lawrence was just on a lap. That's P3 so far, 1.4 seconds of Alex Gao. That was one purple sector, I believe. But still not enough. Chris Barrett should be starting his lap fairly soon. As you see, 2 minute 50, so this should be his out lap. Wonderful Ferrari livery. Alex Gao is purple in Sector 2, but this is his out lap, so not much to expect from this one. Yuka Aho is should be doing his first lap. Obviously, doesn't have a position right now. No purples so far, or improvements even. Adam Singer improves in Sector 1, but doesn't improve anywhere else. And that's... oh, Chris Barrett spun round. What happened there on the braking? Car just spun round. Maybe he locked it and started turning. Juka Aho, 42.770, 9.5 tenths off Benjamin Warburton. Edward Hope is doing his first lap right now. William Hope is still not out on track yet, so that's half of qualifying gone and he hasn't done a single lap yet. Jamie Lawrence is improving through Sector 1 to Sector 3. No improvement in Sector 4. Matt Linden sets a 43.170, jumps ahead of Thomas Rosenhausen, 1.3.5 seconds off Benjamin Warburton. Chris Scar is saying his first lap now. Jamie Lawrence improves 43.790, so that's exactly 1/10 slower than Alex Valhalla. Good improvement, but still not enough to really get ahead of Alex and close to the other Alex. So this should be Edward Hope's first flying lap. We'll be able to see the sector times fairly soon. Chris Scar sets his first lap 33.936, so it's fairly close to Alex Valhalla and Jamie Lawrence, but still 2.5 tenths up if I'm correct. Juka Aho improved in Sector 3, but nowhere else. Adam Singer improved in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Let's see if he does better in Sector 5. We've got the second row of GTM currently doing the laps at the same time even. James Roman sets his first lap, 55.526, not ideal. Dan Bull, purple in Sector 1 and Sector 4. Improvement in Sector 2 and Sector 3. Will he get provisional pole? Yes, he will. 40.158. That's nearly half a second of a lead on Chris Barrett. Chris Barrett is starting his flying lap now. Obviously, we did see a very, very, very unlucky spin, shall I say, into turn 4 under braking, so that is one lost lap. Alex Gao sets a faster Sector 2. Obviously, this was his out lap. Edward Hope jumps into P3 now. 40.930, so that's a good lap. 7.7 tenths off Dan Bull. 3 tenths off Chris Barrett. Benjamin Warburton is improving. Sector 2 purple, Sector 3 improvement on himself. Losing time in Sector 1 and Sector 4 though. Coming across the line, this should be his out lap, if I'm correct. Yeah, 33 minute 32 is not a normal lap. Taking it fairly cleanly through turn 1, no lockups. Seems like everyone's got their act on, got the game on. Chris Scar improves 33.413. Now that's P2 for him. So he's the closest person to Alex we have right now. Jack Thompson's purple in Sector 2 and improvements in Sector 1 to Sector 4. With the exception of Sector 2, of course. Let's hop on board as he runs to the line. Obviously here is just 4th row, but we'll see if he can snatch pole from Dan Bull. If he wants to snatch pole, it will have to be a low 40, a very low 40. Is it possible for him? He's been improving through most of the sectors, so the target is 40.158. Can you do it? Obviously we're on a bit of a delay, I believe. 40.990, that's an improvement, but 8.3 tenths off Dan Bull. He'll still have another go at least. Alex Gao, purple in Sector 1 and Sector 3, improvement in Sector 4. He's only fighting with himself here right now though. 32.397, that's 1.1 tenths gained. 1 second now on Chris Scar and everyone else. Benjamin Warburton's coming across the line. Purple in Sector 1, no improvement in Sector 2, 4, sorry. James Bowman's on a outlap right now. He will be eager to improve as the championship leader and a good few positions. That's 5 positions behind Yuka Aho, and that's his closest championship rival. 41.647, so Benjamin Warburton improves, extends his lead to 2.5 tenths ahead of Tim Braining. Edward Top goes a bit too deep, too fast, maybe a bit of a lock up there into turn 1. Jamie Lawrence is improving in Sector 1. Let's see how he does into Sector 2. Yes, he improves as well. Turn 6 now. Early on the throw. There you go. Gets the car stopped in time perfectly. Sector 3 was also an improvement for Jamie Lawrence. Now, next corners will be the bus stop, and then he has to just slam the throw early. Can he get P2? Purple in Sector 4 even, wow. Can he keep it together though? Looks very clean through there. Maybe lost a tiny bit of time on not being on the absolute limit, but that looked very fast nevertheless. It's not coming around the high banking of Daytona. He's just got to slam the throw, maybe use the apron to save some time. He does seem to be the last person out on track right now, actually. Improvement in every sector, and that's a 33.095, so he's just a tenth of the 32s and 6.9 tenths of Alex Girl, so he's got a 3/10 gap between himself and Chris Scar, so that's perfect for him. And there's no one else on track. Why is there no one else on track? That's not great. What are we going to do now? Well, so as you can see here, I believe Dan Bull's the last person to be able to complete a lap as it says pit lane, otherwise the game won't let you be in the car. You can see his car there, but it seems like qualifying's over already. Not too sure exactly what to do here. Obviously I can't show the grid early, since we don't have the data yet. But let's just say it how it is then. Alex Gall's on pole for another time. I believe this might be the 7th time, but he got only 6 fastest laps, if I remember correctly. Jamie Lawrence will be starting alongside him on the front row, 33.095, 6.9 times off, so that's a fair gap. But he's the closest we have so far for LMP2. Doesn't seem like anyone will improve here. Maybe through the race they can get better laps. Chris Scar is on the second row with Alex Valhalla, 133.413, 1 second off Alex Girl. And Alex Valhalla nearly 3 times off Chris Scar, 33.690. In GT Pro, we have Dan Bull and Chris Barrett, the 2 championship rivals on the front row. Dan Bull has the pole time of 40.158. Chris Barrett, though, has a 40.636, so that's a good nearly 5 tenths, nearly half a second of a gap. Oh, William Hope's on track right now. So while we watch him, let me just continue. Edward Hope and Jack Thompson so far have the second row, 40.930 and 40.990. That's 7.7 and 8.3 tenths respectively. Benjamin Warburton for GTM pole here, so separating Eric Newman, 41.647, and Tim Braining, 41.905, 2.5 tenths behind Benjamin. So that's that's qualifying over. William Hope didn't actually get a lap. So let me just quickly run through the grid. That's broken. Sorry. Okay. So as you see, LMP2, 2 rows, Alex Girl, Jamie Lawrence, Chris Scar, Alex Valhalla. For GT Pro, we've got Dan Bull, Chris Barrett, Edward Hope, Jack Thompson. Eric Newman is actually behind Benjamin Warburton and Tim Braining. William Hope will be starting at the back of the grid, GTM, if I remember correctly. So that's Benjamin Warburton and Tim Braining together on the 3rd row of GTE. 41.647, 2.5 times off is Tim Braining. Jukaho and Adam Singer should be behind Eric Newman. 4.3 times off and 8.1, so that's a fair gap. 4 times between just Juka and Adam. Matt Edmondson 1.2 seconds up, and Thomas Rosenhausen nearly 1.4, so that's 2 times between them as well. And on the final row, I'll say, of GTM, 1.5 seconds off, and James Bowman 7.6, so he couldn't actually get a full lap in, having some issues in some way, shape, or form. William Hope hasn't been able to set a lap, so he'll be starting at the very back of the grid behind GTM drivers, as I said before. Let's just go into the chopper camera. Maybe blimp even. So we'll come with the interval gaps at the start. We no longer need the best or last lap. All we need is the fantastic interval. Fairly small grid today. Obviously, participation does drop as the season goes on. We'll have Alex Girl leading round 7 off for another time. Dan Bull leading a GT Pro, and Tim Braining leading off, Benjamin Warburton leading off GTM. So that's 4 LMP2 drivers. Remind me of an LMP1 grid, really. Very small, but competitive even. We should see a fair gap forming between the LMP2 and GT drivers. That's 15 seconds, as I see on my timings. That's a safe gap, although I don't think we have crashes coming on here. We'll be live with LMP2. Pretty sure nothing will happen there, since there's very low numbers, and I'm hoping they won't crash into each other. So we'll jump straight to GT as soon as they're through safely. Do see a few position shifts, but obviously this is the rolling start, so that's normal. So now we're coming down to the end of the really high banking of turn 4, on the oval at least, and we're slowly coming down to the start-finish straight. Pace car's in. So you see Alex Gold lead us off for round 7 of the PPR and DaveCam iRacing League Tier 1 at Daytona. Good start. Jamie Lawrence doesn't really get a fantastic start after tucking behind. Alex Valhalla tucks in ahead of Chris Carr even. Into turn 1 they go. It's fairly safe. Seems to be fine. Now GT Pro. Looks clean so far. Tim Braining in P2 behind Benjamin Warburton. Eric Newman still behind the 2 GTM drivers, and even Juka Aho now. William Hope is ahead of Matt Linden already. May have left a bit of a gap, and he's going side by side with Thomas Wieserhausen. So that's 2 positions gained from the start of the race for him. 2 positions on GTM drivers though, and Alex Valhalla loses a position to Chris Scar. Not ideal. Obviously he gained the position at the start, now he lost it. So William Hope will be eager to try and overtake all of the GTM drivers, catch up to GT Pro if possible, and maybe get a good position for the second to last race of the season. There's been some sort of spin for Jamie Lawrence. Is he okay? Now he's back on track, but he's lost positions to Dan Bull and Chris Barrett, and that should be 5 seconds already lost to Alex Valhalla. So how's the fight between Dan Bull and Chris Barrett? Very close already, 3.5 times separate them. But we've also got a fight between Matt Edmondson and Adam Singer, and James Bowman right behind them as well. So to the bus stop, clean so far, but we see a ton of cars, a ton of Corvettes for GTM. So Jamie Lawrence seems to have made some sort of mistake, but obviously he's coming back up the grid. Doesn't seem to have damaged, don't think he hit anything, just maybe had a bit of a spin. James Bowman gets past Matt Edmondson. Let's just hop back and see where he is. Matt Edmondson may have actually got a slowdown there. The bus stop is very easy to get that in, so that's no real complaint there by me. James Bowman and William Hope are actually fine right now. James Bowman goes ahead into turn 1, and William Hope actually do something into turn 2 and maybe up to turn 4. Doesn't seem like it. James Bowman will stay ahead. William Hope will want to get past here very quickly. He didn't lose as much time as Jamie Lawrence did, but he still may lose more throughout the next few GTM cars to overtake. Eric Newman is stuck behind Juka Aho, Tim Braining and Benjamin Warburton. Meanwhile, Alex Gao already has a 7-second gap on Alex Valhalla. Something must have happened between him and Chris Scar. Chris Scar seems to have gone off track at some point. What's happened here? The timing seemed to be going a little bit crazy. So Chris has made a mistake as well, similar to Jamie Lawrence. Didn't lose as much time, but Jamie Lawrence is 3 seconds off him, so that's convenient for him. Maybe he can fight for the podium. Jack Thompson is chasing after Edward Hope. The two Porsches, as I said, they can compare each other to each other. Now he's got a slipstream. Let's see if he can make a move down towards turn 1. Doesn't seem like he's gaining that much time so far. Let's look at the battle box to see how close they are really. He's not gaining time. Is this setup more downforce oriented? Might be the case. Tim Braining does get past Benjamin Warbitron right now. They're going side by side into turn 1. He'll be victorious here, and does seem Benjamin Warbitron does go a bit deeper, but does have the lead. But Tim Braining is gonna be actually. Oh, there's been no hit there, no hit there. Excuse me. Turn 4, and Benjamin Warbitron's ahead now fully. That's Juka Aho actually giving Tim Braining a bit of a fight, and that's also Eric Newman behind them. So that's a 3-way fight right now, on track at least. And wow, look how close Eric Newman is to the back of Juka Aho's Corvette. Very, very close. Jack Thompson's still chasing after Edward Hope, but he doesn't seem like he's able to make any moves on the straights, which is not ideal on Daytona. It's the place where you can really catch back up to someone, even if you lose time through the corners. Adam Singer's on the back of Juka Aho now, so obviously Eric Newman has gained back the position off the start. It's not a position for points, but it's a position on track, which he will have to be happy with so far. He's 5.7 seconds behind Jack Thompson, so he will want to pick up the pace. Meanwhile, William Hope is actually chasing after Adam Singer, so that little bit of fighting has slowed them all down. You can see all the Corvettes coming down into the bus stop now. Juka Aho stays ahead of, gets ahead of Newman yet again. Maybe down the straight there'll be a bit of a move going on. William Hope on Adam Singer. Obviously not for points, but for track position. Adam Singer does land by, maybe a bit of a slowdown. Not exactly sure. Jack Thompson 1/10 behind Edward Hope yet again, but no move down here yet. Juka Aho gets past Tim Braining? Something happened to Tim Braining. Oh, he did go wide there. Not exactly sure what happened. So William Hope and Eric Newman are in a direct fight. William Hope does get past Eric Newman now. So 2 more GTM cars to get past. James Bowman gets past Tim Braining. Oh my, what happened there? James Bowman's in the wall. We're gonna watch that again. So he's chasing after Tim Braining into turn 4. Brakes. And then that's been contact with someone, and then he gets spun around. That's Matt Edmondson that hit Tim Braining and then hit Adam Singer as well. So that's a lot of lost time for them. James Bowman's down into last place now. No ideal. Wow, Alex Go is already 55 seconds away from lapping them, so there might actually be some traffic action for the LP2s. Eric Newman is still chasing after William Hope to maybe gain back the position he lost in his class. Edward Hope is not close enough to gain it back. And what happened to Edward Hope actually? Let's quickly look at that. So he was getting chased by Jack Thompson. Goes too fast and locks up into turn 6. And you got the spin as well because of clipping the grass. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. Does avoid the cars coming past him though. So, at least a clean medium. So Eric Newman is still chasing after William Hope. There's also Juka Aho there. Obviously they're going to get past him yet again. William Hope's going for the move first. No, not actually going for the move there yet. Juka Aho does go a bit deeper in on the brakes and does end up staying a bit ahead, but William Hope is all over him right now. Eric Newman is on the back of William Hope as well. Flashing their lights, but there's no rules saying that he can't fight. especially since they're not lap cars, but Ducajo does go the long way around and does lose time there. So we got a 3 Corvettes there. And Ducajo's ahead of William Hope. Wow, he got actually a better run down to turn 5 and turn 6. Meanwhile, we've got Eric Newman. He is very, very close to William Hope, but he still can't make a move yet. Meanwhile, William Hope's trying his best to get past Ducajo, but Duca is doing a fantastic job of holding them off, even if he's losing time to Benjamin ahead of him. Meanwhile, Alex Gao already has a 13-second lead, and something happened to Alex Valhalla at some point, since he's in P4 now. So Jamie Lawrence has a podium, and Chris Scar's back in P2. Well, not back in P2, he's up in P2. He started in P3. William Hope braking a bit earlier, coming into the bus stop. Bit of a laggy camera view there. Eric Newman will be hoping to get close to William Hope, maybe make a move. I don't think you'll be able to make the move here on this lap. Obviously, when you have Ducajo ahead as well, it's very difficult. Mats Linden, meanwhile, was chasing after Thomas Rosenhauser, and the gap is closing for him. Maybe a move can be done by him. Let's quickly hop on ahead. The 2 teammates even, Team Pegasus, these ones are for sure the Team Pegasus drivers, as you can see on the top banner. Benjamin Warbitron and Ducajo are actually having a bit of a scrap now. I didn't expect that. What happened here? Okay, maybe Benjamin made a mistake at some point. That's not good. Matt Edmondson is down to the last now. Something, it says he crashed, maybe went off track. Yeah, went off track for 8 seconds to be exact. And we've still got a 3-way fight for P4 now. William Hope, Eric Newman and Edward Hope. So that fighting is losing them a ton of time. You can see Edward Hope, even after his mistake into turn 6 under pressure, he's caught back up. Very impressive. Capitalizing on the fact that the Corvettes ahead are all fighting. They're all scrapping away. And this is the type of fighting that you... Oh my god, Eric Newman's around. He's spun around. Turn 7. Exit of turn 7. Sorry for that noise. He's lost the time. And he's going to be wanting to gain the time back now. Not ideal for him though. Not ideal at all. He's on the apron now trying to get back up to speed. Obviously he'll be losing time. 7 seconds, 8 seconds. Before he gets to the bus stop, okay, there you go, 8 seconds. So he's going to be working hard to gain time in the 35 minutes of the race remaining. Meanwhile, Edward Hope will be chasing after William Hope, maybe trying to get some of that action. I told you, the 2 Hope teammates provide some of the finest action in this league. Maybe even in racing as a whole. At least sim racing, that's for sure. Very, very close racing between these 2. James Bowman is catching back up to the back of Adam Singer now. So that's going to be a position you want to gain back. Obviously, he's in P7. He lost a lot of time, especially after getting spun around, so that's not ideal. But Edward Hope's called back up. Half a second separates him and William Hope. No other fights currently. There is some pressure being put on P6, P5 even, in GTM. William Hope does get past William Hope. Edward Hope gets past William Hope into turn 5. Into turn 6, he's already clear, half a second ahead. So I think there may have been some team orders maybe. I'm not exactly sure. We won't question them about it later anyways. Jamie Lawrence is now catching up to Chris Scar. 1 second separates them, 1.2. It says battle first, but that's not a battle for first at all. 16 seconds already. Alex has gained 16 seconds in 11 minutes. Obviously, mistakes have been made behind him, but 11 seconds, or 16 seconds is 16 seconds. Meanwhile, James Bowman is chasing after Adam Singer, and Adam Singer is trying to get close and possibly past Thomas Rosenhausen. Mats Linden got past and gained already nearly 2 seconds on him, on his teammate, and now we've got Adam Singer trying to get past. So we do see some sort of traffic battle, shall I say. William Hope's back ahead of Edward Hope, probably on the straight, the banking at least. Yeah, there you go, there. The Porsche is not fast in the banking at all. Obviously, Edward's not going to fight it since they're teammates and they don't want to lose time. Ducajo behind them. So that's not quite good for them. Obviously, they're not fighting for points, as I said a few times before already. They're fighting for track position, which is not ideal anyways. And look, they're going to be scrapping about yet again. Adam Singer and Thomas Rosenhausen are trading positions right now. Side by side into turn 1. That's Thomas Rosenhausen ahead of Jimmy Bowman. Wow, very close between these guys. Adam Singer's ahead of James Bowman and Thomas Rosenhausen, but James Bowman got past Thomas now. So that's the job done. He can continue to chase after Adam Singer, which is what he was doing at the very start, or at least the last few minutes. Eddie Pope is still chasing after William Hope. Can you get anything done on the exit onto the banking? Did lose some time here. And the Porsche is not fast in the straight, so I don't think anything will be done here. Unless William does get a very slow exit out of the bus stop or a slowdown of some sorts, but the slipstream is still helping him here. So now going to the bus stop, you should see them go side by side. Edward Hope is ahead. William does brake a bit earlier, as we saw there. Clean racing between these two. They're kind of letting each other by, but well, maybe they're towing each other a bit. So that's still half a second between these two. Jamie Lawrence is still around that 1.3, 1.4 second mark now behind Chris Scarr. Not unable to make a move, unable to really close the gap fully. Maybe some error wash, depending on the setup. James Bowman, however, is still chasing after Adam Singer. They've only got 2.5 second gap on Thomas Rosenhausen. But they're fighting each other. Look how close they're gonna be. Can he make a dive at turn 1? I don't think it's ideal at Daytona, but he can brake early and maybe get a faster exit. And that's Adam Singer going in quite deep. That's him that's very deep. But James Bowman isn't able to capitalize on it just yet. That's Mats Linden ahead of them as well, the other Team Pegasus driver. So now into turn 4. That's going to be 3 Corvettes on our screen again. So James Bowman is trying to get past Adam Singer, and Mats Linden will be in the fight now as well. He's going to have to defend against the two drivers, the two very angry Corvettes. James Bowman will be eager to gain positions here. Adam Singer's gone off, he's gone wide into turn 6. We've seen a similar thing with Eddie Hope, but he just went straight into the wall here. No spin, he couldn't get this car stopped at 1 down. He's down into last, and James Bowman is up into 5th. So James Bowman, one more position to gain before he has to overtake a GT Pro car, which is a fair bit ahead. Gosh. William Hope chasing after, or told, he's being told by Edward Hope. 14 seconds to gain to Jack Thompson though, so I don't think they'll be able to really close the gap for now. Maybe throughout the rest of the race if there's some mistakes being made. But the fight for the podium really, for the win you could even say, is holding up fairly well. Dan Bull, Chris Barrett, Jack Thompson, that's a podium right now. As I said before, the points gains are very, very high on the higher positions. We see Chris Barrett maybe going a little bit too wide there. I'm not sure. The points gains are very high, so if Dan Bull wins this race, Chris Barrett will have to win the next race, and Dan Bull will have to finish quite a bit behind since he's got a 4-point gap now. So right now, Chris Barrett will have to try and maybe make a challenge for the fastest lap, maybe get that 1 extra point that could maybe help close the gap a bit, or decrease the gap, increase. Jack Thompson's gone off track, and wow, that's big off track. Let's see exactly what happened. And oh wow, he lost on the exit of turn 6. Locked the brakes not to go flying, but before he got back on track, he lost a lot of time. So he's 9 seconds behind, and Edward Hope is 8 seconds behind now. So their towing could actually be helping here a little bit. Helping to reduce that gap, since obviously I said mistakes, they'll gain time if mistakes are made, and mistakes have been made now. If these mistakes continue, Edward Hope and William Hope may have a chance at the podium. We've seen a fantastic podium in F1 today, Vettel just getting in on the action on the final lap, on the final few corners, and getting that podium. So fantastic for him. Edward Hope loses time for some reason, been going off track. Yeah, he went off track for 7 seconds, and now he's behind Eric Newman. So wow, he's not going to be in the podium fight. He is now 3.5 seconds off Eric Newman, and That's a lot of time. 6 seconds between Eric Newman and William Hope, and 9 seconds between William Hope and Jack Thompson. And William doesn't have a toe anymore, so he'll have to be relying on his own pace. And I'm not exactly sure, judging by the best laps, if that's going to help. Yeah, we see a whole second quicker. That's Jack Thompson versus William Hope, and then you've got, wow, that's William Edward Hope spun around into turn 1. He's not giving up yet. He's going to be continuing, and that's a very, very close rejoin. That's one of the Team Pegasus drivers, I believe that's Matt Linden. Not the safest rejoin. Not ideal, but he's back on track and still driving. So he's just going to have to try and drive to survive at this point, after losing this much time from one spin of his own pole into turn 6, and another spin now into turn 1, and then an off track at some point between those two that we didn't get to see live. He's just going to be losing time and losing time if this continues. He won't be gaining any time, and he hasn't been really gaining much time, really, if we're honest. Eric Newman driving by himself, really, trying to get past the GTM drivers at some point, but it's just positions ahead of him, not really anything for points. The points are very far away from him. 6.5 seconds to William Hope, and he's losing time still. The fight for LMP2, 3.3 seconds. Jamie Lawrence and Chris Carr, that's the gap between these two. Jamie Lawrence is losing more time, so it doesn't seem like there's going to be a fight brewing up, whether it's on strategy or on track towards the end of the race. Seems like everyone's just pulling away a bit. Chris Barrett, 2.6 seconds between him and Dan Bull, so no time being gained here. It's just a few times, 1-2 times per lap. Edward Hope's in the pits now. Maybe an undercut, although at this point he's lost so much time that even a few seconds gained won't really mean much to him. But hey, it's worth a shot. Adam Singer follows him in. I'm sure Edward doesn't have damage, and that's a very weird camera angle. So we'll be watching the pit stop here, since there's nothing else going on right now, and see how fast it is. Maybe a bit slower since he's taking more fuel, but it's one to watch. 13.7, that's the service time, which sounds pretty reasonable considering the last service times. 38.267, so the Daytona pit stop isn't that long, but you've also got the pit exit to do, so you slow down a bit more. You don't instantly come back on track. 30.2 by Adam Singer, so a bit quick on the service times. 38.433, so slow on the overall pit stop or time spent in the pit lane, but quick on the pit service time. So GT Pro has become a very split up class except the podium. You've got just those speckles of GT Pro drivers split up in the, sprinkle on the GT cake, if I can speak metaphorically. Jack Thompson's in the pits now, undercutting, or attempting an undercut on Chris Barrett and possibly Dan Bull. He's lost a lot of time, but it's always worth a shot. He's got good pace, maybe not as fast on the best lap times as Dan Bull and Chris Barrett, but it's always worth a shot. William Hope is now in P3. And oh gosh, Jack had to reverse. He overshot his pit box a bit. Ah gosh, let's see how fast the service time will be at least. 15.0, so that's not ideal. That is not ideal. 39.983, so that's a second slower overall. 1.5 maybe even. Matt Edmondson and Thomas Wolserhausen are fighting now, wow. So into turn 1, fairly close. So turn 4, 3 Corvettes coming in on screen yet again. 2 teammates, and oh my, Matt Linden's ahead of Matt Edmondson. Well, sorry, Matt Edmondson's ahead of Matt Linden into turn 4. That move is done and dusted. Thomas Wolserhausen's coming up on his teammate now as well. Will he go for a move? I'm not exactly sure, but it's still just 4 times between these guys, maybe half a second. It might be a fight between teammates. We see a bit of gravel being kicked up, thrown up, however you want to call it, by the tires. Not the fastest exit by Matt Linden, but actually maybe a bit faster, a bit deeper, but coming out with a bit more speed, maybe on the throw a bit earlier than Thomas Wolserhausen. But now he's gaining time anyways due to the tow. But they've both got the toe, so it won't be as quick of a game. Coming down into the bus stop, we've got William Hope in the pits. Just the usual pit stop, following everyone else's strategy. At least most of the others. He's not really fighting for the podium right now, but it's maybe worth trying to gain some time where you can. So the two teammates coming down the high banking. Will they be going side by side? Not quite, and that's actually Matt Edmondson. After the fight, after losing the position, he's going to be going for the undercut now. Thomas Wolzerhausen ahead of Matt Linden now. So they'll let each other by. Meanwhile, Chris Barrett has gained a little bit of time, maybe losing that time to the BMW now on the straights. We all know how fast the big boy is, but it's still worth a shot. Just keep the throat open, you don't really have much of a choice. If you can gain the time through the corners, it'll be perfect for him anyways. Matt Linden is still pacing after Thomas Wolzerhausen, but I don't think he'll be making an overtake. Alex Gao comes in as the first MP2 driver. He's got a very big safety margin. He could sit in the pits for a stop and go, like a 5-second one at least, and still be very safe for the rest of the race. Adam Singer is now ahead of Matt Edmondson. Maybe gained the pits there. Chris Barrett comes into the pits as an undercut attempt to Dan Ball. That's very interesting. I would expect Dan Ball to try and maybe box a bit earlier, gain some time possibly. But we'll take what we can get here. So now Alex is coming out behind Jamie Lawrence and Chris Scar on track. Obviously they have to pit ahead as well. I don't know how much fuel they have. I know it's around 50 litres I believe on the tank, but obviously the MP2 cannot complete even a full 1 hour stint on a full tank. No, we're not even talking about our league tanks here or IMSA fuel tanks. So Chris Barrett comes out of the pits. We've got Tim Braining and Eric Newman in the pits. James Bowman is in P3 now, provisional P3. He hasn't boxed yet. We see Thomas Wolzerhausen and Matt Linden, the two teammates, come in. Obviously, they don't share a pit box, and there is no pit box limits, so you can have 3 guys in the same pit box if you want that, really. William Hope is in P4 now, 10 seconds off Jack Thompson, so he lost some time here. Although he doesn't have the fastest pace compared to him, so losing time could just be a normal thing. Thomas Wolzerhausen 16.6 and Matt Linden 17.5. Very, very slow pit stops. Compared to even Edward Hope, whose pit stop wasn't the fastest. I believe we had a 5.0 the fastest so far. No. 16.0. That's very slow. Chris Scar's in the pits now. All come out behind Alex Gao as usual. Jamie Lawrence comes in as well. So fairly close between these two. Should be around 3 seconds as we remember. We'll see on the pit stop. Alex Valhalla comes in just to follow them in. Locks up as the only one actually to lock up. So Chris Carr will be coming up first. We'll quickly go on the pit lane camera. There you go. Alex Valhalla will be pulling up in his pit box. Juka Aho is coming into the pits now from P2. He's chasing after Benjamin but isn't able to really fight for the win yet. So who's going to be the first to come out? 19.5, Chris Scar. He's coming out first. Jamie Lawrence should be coming out fairly quickly. Oh my, that's a very slow stop. He's lost 3 seconds on the stop itself, not 4 even, and he's coming out 7 seconds behind, and now it's Valhalla is coming out now. So that's not ideal for Jamie. He lost time just on maybe lap times here, and he's lost time in the pit stop. But he's still on the podium, and Alex Valhalla is 4.2 seconds behind, so he's got some margin. James Bowman's in the pits now. Let's see where he comes out. He should come out around P7. That's a fairly fast pit stop, 14.0 for GTE. So I think this is the third fastest pit stop we've had so far. Adam Singer and Matt Linden, however, and Thomas Wolzerhausen are fighting yet again. Adam Singer will be coming side by side towards turn 1. Let's see how they can do, and that's Adam Singer fully ahead. So not even a lift really needed. Dan Ball's in the pits now. Let's see, can he do a magical, very fast pit stop and gain at least 2 seconds, maybe 1 second, even a few attempts? That'll be great for him. when you've got a championship battle and 18 minutes remaining, you want to gain as much time and just cruise to the end. So we'll have a pit lane camera open again, and as we see Chris Barrett come round the high banking and down to the start finish straight with slightly lower banking. That's not him yet, that's a Corvette, 14.3. Should be Chris Barrett coming round now, so Dan Bull's clear and quite a bit clear. That's him coming by now. So that's 2.5 seconds, so he hasn't gained time on the stop. I haven't actually checked the pit service time, that's my fault there. But he hasn't really lost much time. 2.3 seconds was the usual we've had, 2.5 on the straights, on the oval at least. So Dan Bull is, on his current pace, he's going to be winning the race here, and possibly sealing the championship if he can win the next race as well. If Chris Barrett can finish ahead of Dan Bull here though, that means we'll have the championship fight for next week. And then it'll be sealed next week, but here, it may be over. We have to find out towards the end. We've still got solid 18, 17 minutes, 16 minutes, wherever you want to round it up to. Yeah, remaining of this race. Matt Edmondson's still chasing after Matt Linden. Matt Linden actually did get past him earlier. Maybe he can get revenge here. So we see another move towards turn 1. Matt Edmondson will get past. There you go. Good move. Going in a bit deeper. Obviously he's got the slipstream, I believe. And that's also, wow, that's Adam Singer going too deep. And now he's behind Thomas Rosenhausen, back down to last place. Not great for him. Quite a few mistakes coming out of a few drivers. Maybe it's pressure, maybe it's just them trying to push too hard and gain time. Not ideal though. Team Pegasus got P6, P7. They just lost P5. Benjamin Warburton is coming into the pits now. We'll be watching the pit lane cameras. See quite a few cars coming round. So now we'll have 15 minutes remaining of this race. Should amount to roughly just about 7-8 laps, depending on when the leader crosses the line. So 13.1, not the fastest stop, but fairly quick compared to the others we've had today. So he comes out ahead of Juka Aho, 3.6 seconds. It was a faster stop than Juka's, I believe. I think Juka had a 14.0, if I remember correctly. So he's gained time, and that's perfect for him. He hasn't been here for all the races, at least on the broadcast, since DTM was introduced. But he's on his way for a great win. No mistakes from him. And if he can upkeep that for the rest of the race and keep the decent pace, the good pace in GTM, yeah, he'll be very happy at the end of the day today. Adam Singer comes into the pits. He will be coming out last, from last place. He's just going to be racing to survive here now. Maybe damage control if he can gain a position, but don't think so. Unlucky race for Adam. No fights really going on anywhere. Alex Valhalla has closed the gap from 4.2 seconds, I believe it was, after the LP2 pit stops to 3 seconds, although that might be changing on this oval depending on what setup they're running. Does seem like Jamie's losing some time on the straights though, looking at when he crossed the line. Thomas Wilderhausen, Matt Linden and Matt Edmondson are still fairly close together, so there is a possibility of a fight between these two, or these three. The fight between the two teammates and Matt Edmondson possibly, but Matt does seem to be a tiny bit faster. If he could just get out the toe, he'll be fairly safe as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. Obviously, he got past Matt Linden for another time, revenge for losing the position earlier. So he's alright now. Juka Aho loses the position on Tim Braden. I believe it was a clean overtake. I didn't see Juka go off track. Maybe he went in too deep for turn 1. And that's, yeah, he definitely made some sort of mistake because the gap was 3 seconds, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm wrong here. Now it's 5.6 between Tim Braining and Benjamin Warburton. and Juka is off the podium. But Juka, if I remember correctly, he's 17 points ahead of behind James Bowman, and now he's finishing ahead of James Bowman. If he can get that P2, that will help close that gap. And maybe he can actually get the championship for himself by next race. Although he has to finish this race now. Maybe get that P2 back. That will be very good points for him. No other fights going on right now. Juka or Tim Braining, and the freeway fight for P5 in GTM, which I don't think we'll be experiencing any more overtakes. It will just be very close and a lot of pressure being put on the drivers. Oh, actually, Mats Lundgren is closing that gap very quickly. Matt Edmondson seems to have got a slowdown of some sort. Yeah, it does seem very probable. There's a slot in behind, and that's that. Oh, actually, that's going down to the bus stop. Maybe you let him by. I'm not too sure what's going on here. And Matt Edmondson has to tuck in behind, although it wasn't ideal for him. And wow, that's Thomas Rosenhausen getting past Mats Lundgren, and Mats Lundgren's in the wall. How's his car? Oh, his car's lost his front completely. We saw he just unsettled the car, going a bit too fast, and that's his radiator gone as well. Unlucky for him. So Adam Singer, he's out of the race. But Mats Lundgren will also be out, so that's 2 retirements quite late in the race. Wow. That's a big crash. But there you see what happens if you overspeed it. Thomas Rosenhausen and Matt Edmondson. Thomas gets past now, possibly vengeance for his teammate, but that's the job done for him. P5 for Team Pegasus, and P6 for Med Motorsport. Chris Scar using all the track he can, obviously 22 seconds. He's just cruising towards Alex Gal, or away from Alex Gal. He's cruising to the P2 though. Doesn't really have to worry about Jamie Lawrence behind, although Jamie Lawrence has to worry about Alex Valhalla. If Jamie makes any major mistakes, Alex will be there to take the podium position from him. Although maybe doesn't mean too much in the championship. You know, you'd want to be finishing on the podium, not P4. We can't have any real life celebrations like you have standing up on the podium, spraying the champagne, but we can just assume that you do that. Juka, who is still chasing after Tim Braining. No move has been done by him. Not really any extraordinary time gain, but Eric Newman is behind, going to attempt to get past both Juka and Tim in GPM. Although he's just going to be doing the overtake just because he can, really. 11 seconds to Edward Hope, he's too far, 6 seconds behind William Hope. He could still close in, but with 10 minutes remaining, or 9 minutes even, it's just, I don't think he'll be able to do it. Matt Edmondson is chasing after Thomas Rosenhausen, so they aren't able to pull a gap. We had Mats Lundgren in the front, and he hasn't been able to pull a gap. We've had Matt Edmondson in the front, and he hasn't been able to pull a gap. And we've had Thomas now in the front, and he hasn't been able to pull a gap either. Obviously, this is the first lap he's been ahead, but it's still not perfect, especially when Matt is trying to make moves. Maybe taking wider exits just to maybe gain some time on the straights or get close. I don't think he'll go for a dive bomb, but you can see here, they're taking very, very different lines. Maybe that's just me looking at it like that, but... No, look how close they are. Wow, that's a very defensive line from Thomas Rosenhausen. And now, wow, Edmondson gets around the outside. Thomas Rosenhausen went very defensive. And didn't get the traction he needed on the exit of turn 7 towards turn 8 and the banking. And that's he lost the position. As I said, he couldn't pull away. And he just made a fairly unlucky mistake. I don't think Matt Edmondson would have went for the dive there, since he could have got a much better exit onto the banking if he just took the normal line and lifted maybe a bit earlier, or tried to brake earlier and take a faster exit out onto the banking. But he didn't have to worry about anything here when Thomas just gives the position back himself. That's Eric Newman trying to make a move on Juka Aho into turn 6. They are very close together, nearly side by side. Maybe side by side going into the corner at the start, now they're not. Tim Braining is also under pressure, although Juka is under pressure himself and under attack. So the two Corvettes chasing after the big boy. Well, the big boy is not as big as he used to be after the recent BOP nerfs. So Eric Newman hopefully won't ruin the fight for Juka for P2. But, you know, he's going to earn his rights to maybe just overtake these guys. He's lost 1.5 seconds, and I would hope, you know, if he makes mistakes or loses even more time by these two guys defending very hard, it won't be ideal for him. Although I think he just won't have to worry about it when 7 minutes remaining. But it's very fair for him to make the overtake. So coming round the banking, I believe Eric may be able to make a move here. No, he's too far actually, he's losing time. Hey, he's losing time on the straight. Maybe he did that by purpose. Alex Valhalla is now half a second away from Jamie Lawrence. Oh no, I lied that. That's wrong. That is wrong. The timings were wrong. But Juka Aho and Tim Braining are just a half second apart. Eric Newman is really putting under pressure, trying to prioritize those exits, trying to carry more speed onto the exit, or carry more speed onto the straight after the exit, sorry. That makes more sense. Look at that. Look how close they are. Juka goes defensive again, but look how close he is to Tim. Obviously Tim gets a bad exit since Juka went defensive. And Mats Linden is completely out of this race. Well, 25 seconds behind Thomas Rosenhausen. He's lapped pretty much. So yeah, unlucky race for the poor lad. Provided a lot of action in the freeway fight, but action is now over, even for Thomas and Matt Edmondson. They're not fighting together now. Matt pulled away after Thomas gave the position away. So that's 8 times between him and Jamie Lawrence and Alex Valhalla. And Alex Valhalla will be gaining time into the bus stop and possibly out of the bus stop. Let's see. The serve differences, maybe. It is possible that the two are running two different setups, and on the banking it's maybe very, very evident. And wow, look at that closing speed. I'm pretty sure Jamie Lawrence didn't get a slowdown there, but wow. And Alex Valhalla is through. He's through into the podium positions. That's P3 for him. He worked hard for it, made a few mistakes himself, but nothing too major. So into turn 1, he is ahead, and now he's going to try and pull a gap into the last 4 minutes. Jamie Lawrence gets a bit of a wiggle, keeps it together. This might be a fight to watch for the end of the race, but Tim Braining and Juka will seem to be close as before. That they could still make a move there, although Eric Newman is right behind them as well. So Jamie Lawrence will have to try his best to just maybe get past Alex Valhalla, or just put the pressure on and maybe get Alex to make a mistake, although I don't think it will happen. Alex worked very hard for this, and I don't think he'll be able to just give it up without a proper fight. James Bowman separating the two NP2s now. Jamie Lawrence should be getting past. But some time lost. Some time lost for Alex Valhalla. Jamie Lawrence got through there fairly quickly. As you can see, the gap's closing now on the straight. Wow, look how quickly that's closing. Even though Jamie Lawrence could be running a different setup, I'm not sure if that closing speed was just because of LMP2 and exit speeds, but wow. Now Jamie got a very, very poor exit of the bus stop. He's losing time there. And he's still losing time there. And Juka Aho has made a move on Tim Braining. We just missed it. Eric Newman is on putting Tim under pressure. Obviously, Eric was putting pressure on Juka, and Juka did not succumb to that pressure. Now Eric will try and take the wider, slightly wider corner, get that faster exit speed, and Matt Edmondson has dropped to P6. One off track for 9 seconds, that's a lot, and losing more time. I believe he just got a bit of a spin or something, similar to how Edward Hope had one. And Eric Newman is going in fairly deep. Wow. Trying his best not to hit him, but look how close he's following Tim. Going side by side into turn 7. Who can get the bad exit onto the straight? There'll be a bit of a toll coming from Chris Carr, I believe that's behind them. Oh my. Great racing, and Chris Carr's going to be coming down the middle. Got 3 lanes here, and now, look at Eric. He's going to be eating all that slipstream up. Obviously the gaps, we don't have them on the timing charts, but I can show you them on the battle box. We've got 3 times between these two. So if Eric can get a good exit out of the bus stop, he will be ahead, and that's 1/10. Fantastic exit. Again, the whole 10 with just that one bus stop. And now that's Juka Aho ahead of them as well, and Juka's losing time. But look at that BMW pulling away. That BMW is insanely fast compared to these Corvettes. Wow. So that's Eric maxed out on top speed. Maybe running a bit more of a downforce out, but he does go far late on the brakes. Very close to Tim Braining, and Tim Braining spun around. No contact was made between these two, but Tim just... wow. Maybe got a bit scared, but that's Tim's around. Got a fair gap, a very nice gap to James Bowman, so you'll still have the podium, but... oh wow. Not ideal. A fight with a GT Pro driver, so essentially a lapping car, or at least a faster car, caused him to really fall out of the fight for P2. And as you can see, Juka Aho here, he will be taking P2 if all goes well for him. He's 2 seconds behind Benjamin Warbitron, so he could still close the gap a little bit. Maybe if Benjamin makes a mistake on the final lap, although I doubt that, he could get that position. But Jamie Lawrence got past Alex Valhalla at some point. I'm not exactly sure when that happened. 1.8 seconds between these two. I thought the timing shot was saying something different. I believe it's just a visual error though, because I can see the actual interval on my timing screen. Chris Barrett. Did something happen to Chris Barrett? No, Jack Thompson's in the pits yet again though. What happened to Jack Thompson? Doesn't seem like he made a mistake at any point. Did you? Oh, is he out of fuel? Oh my. He's out of fuel. Oh no, that's not fuel. That is... oh, was he out of fuel? No, 15.0 service time, 21. No, that's... what happened? It also told me that Chris Barrett and his car have crashed, although that's a false statement. None of these guys have crashed. Jamie Lawrence does get... oh, actually, Chris Scar is in the wall. Wow. He's stuck. So that's Jamie Lawrence in P2 and Alex Valhalla in P3, and that's Chris Scar out in the pits. I believe he'll get his points for completing 90% of the race, but wow, that's over for him. And we'll be following Alex Gao, our race leader from lap 1, and our pole sitter, and should be our fastest lap as well. Yes, it is. So we've got Alex Gao the fastest lap, Dan Bull the fastest lap, and Juka Aho the fastest lap for LMP2, GT Pro, and GT Am, respectively. So as he comes round, he will be the race winner for round 7 of the PPR and DaveCam iRacing League Tier 1. Dan Bull just about got lapped. That's him winning for GT Pro, and congratulations to Benjamin Warbitron for winning GT Am whenever it comes across the line, and Juka Aho got P2, fairly close behind. So let's see the exact gaps. That's alright. Yeah, 2.3 seconds between Chris Barrett and Dan Bull. Wait, did Juka Aho just get past... Juka Aho just got past Benjamin Warbitron. He's out of fuel. What happened to him? Oh, he's out of fuel. So wait, who else can catch him? Tim Braining's coming by. Tim Braining's gonna get P2. Oh my! So that's P2 for Tim Burning and P3 when he limps over the line, Benjamin Robinson. He was on for a win. But that's Juka Aho's win. And that actually might be what he needed to close that gap between himself and James Bowman in the championship. Extraordinary. We saw Jack Thompson box in to finish the race. Obviously had a safe gap. But wow, that's... Benjamin just wanted to keep going. Maybe just he'll think you have enough. But that was not enough. Not sure if he was saving for some of the corners. Maybe he was. But that is very, very unlucky. So now we see Thomas Rosenhausen coming across the line here. And that's the end of the race. Congratulations to Alex Gall, Jamie Lawrence, and Alex Valhalla for the podium sitters in LMP2. Chris Scar, very unlucky mistake towards the end of the race. Dambo for another win. And that's a very big championship lead now with the extra fastest lap point and the pole position point, if I remember correctly. Chris Barrett will have to sell P2, and Jack Thompson sits fairly comfortably in P3. Second race in a row, very good finish for him. William Hope, not the best race for him, but P4, Eric Newman spent a lot of time providing us with action, flying the GTM drivers, but P5 couldn't really even get to the GT Pro Grid. Edward Hope, a race to forget for him in P6. I can show the accurate results now. So we've got GTM, as I was saying now. Jukaho takes a very, very unlikely win. 8.2 seconds ahead of Tim Braining, who obviously made that mistake when flying with Eric Newman. Benjamin Robertson running out of fuel on the final straight, the very, very long oval section. Does end up in P3. James Bowman in P4, so that's championship fight. We're going to have to find out how close it is in the standings for Le Mans. Thomas Rosenhausen in P5. Matt Edmondson in P6. Matt Linden, a very, very unlucky race towards the end part. Very exciting when we had a three-way fight for P5, but not exciting when he already fell out the fight. Adam Singer out of this race, retirement. Unlucky race for him as well. So I can quickly show the GT Pro standings just formally. Obviously I ran through them already, but there you go. So Dan Ball, Chris Barrett, Jack Thompson, William Hope, Eric Newman, Edward Hope. And for LMP2, obviously, as usual, Alex Gall, Jamie Lawrence, Alex Valhalla, Chris Scar. So that's it for Daytona. Not as exciting as the usual races. Obviously, participation was a bit lower than we usually had. But still a very exciting race. And I hope the final race of the season will be as exciting. So make sure to join us and listen out for any news about Season 2. We should be fairly quiet throughout the winter or the Christmas season, with loads of events happening in other leagues or other communities. And even the PPR Nürburgring 24-hour race coming up next week. So make sure to check out the PPR Discord if you're interested for that. But we should be back by next year for Season 2. But we've still got one more race to finish it up with a bang, hopefully. Or at least with a very, very fun race, an exciting race. So hopefully everyone will be there, even if they're not fighting for a championship. Just have a fun race at Le Mans. We recently had Le Mans, so everyone should have setups and be fairly comfortable with the track. But from us, from me, that's it. So thank you for watching as always. Thank you for our sponsors and drivers and staff for being here and making this league possible.